The rain never stopped in Blackridge. It fell like a curtain over the crooked city, washing away nothing, only pushing the filth deeper into the cracks of the streets. For Daniel Cross, it wasn't rain, it was memory. Every drop carried the echo of a night he could never forget, the night his sister, Leela, was killed. She hadn't been anyone important, not to the city at least. A 22-year-old bartender trying to make rent, trying to keep her brother from falling too far into the bottle. But to Daniel, she was everything. The one light that hadn't yet been snuffed out. And then, she was gone, taken by a name whispered in fear. Anton Varga. Varga was untouchable. His empire was carved out of blood and cement. Drugs, weapons, women, politicians all under his thumb. Witnesses disappeared. Detectives turned up in rivers. Court cases dissolved before they began. Daniel had gone to the police, then to the press, then even to the federal agents. All of them turned their eyes away. So Daniel did the only thing left. He started to hunt. Chapter 1. The list. Daniel wasn't trained. He wasn't a soldier or a cop. He was just a construction worker who had once boxed in his youth. But grief had a way of sharpening edges. Over months, he studied Vargas' network, lieutenants, dealers, enforcers. He wrote their names down in a notebook, each one a thread connected to the man who had taken everything. The first name was Marcus Knives Halloran, Vargas' collector. Marcus was a sadist who carved warnings into his victims with the same blade he carried since prison. Daniel found him in a nightclub, drunk, laughing too loud. Daniel followed him into the alley, hands shaking, heart racing. He hadn't planned for the moment, it just happened. A fight, a struggle, the knife turning in Marcus' own gut. When it was over, Marcus lay bleeding against the bricks, whispering a curse. Daniel didn't run. He stood there in the rain, staring at the body, feeling the blood on his hands. The fear didn't come, only silence. For the first time since Leela's death, Daniel felt something like peace. Chapter 2. Warpath. Word spread fast. Vargas' men thought it was a rival crew. They doubled security, but Daniel was patient. He struck again, this time a mid-level dealer named Rico. Then another, and another. He became a ghost in Blackridge, moving through shadows, always one step ahead. But each kill made him harder inside. He stopped seeing faces, only targets. His friends barely recognized him. He quit his job, sold his car, moved apartments every week. His world shrank until it was nothing but the list, the names, and the image of Varga smiling at Leela's funeral in the paper. Still, Daniel wasn't the only hunter. Detective Clara Vega had been tracking the bodies piling up around Vargas' empire. She was smart, stubborn, and the only cop in Blackridge who hadn't sold her soul. She saw the pattern. She saw Daniel. But instead of turning him in, she watched. She knew what Varga was, and she knew the system would never touch him. Part of her wanted to stop Daniel, another part wanted to see how far he could go. Chapter 3. The Wolf's Den. By the time Daniel reached the top lieutenants, Varga had taken notice. A message was sent. Daniel's old apartment burned to the ground, a body mistaken for him inside. The news reported him dead. Daniel saw it as a gift, freedom to move without chains. With Clara's reluctant help, he mapped Vargas' strongholds. The final fortress was the Red Harbor warehouse, where shipments came and went under the cover of night. Dozens of guards, all armed. Suicide to storm it. But Daniel wasn't thinking about living anymore. He came with fire. Molotovs in his backpack, his sister's photo in his pocket. The night sky lit up as the warehouse burned, gunfire crackling in the storm. He fought like a man already gone, cutting through guards with a desperation that bordered on madness. By dawn, the harbor was ash, and only one name remained uncrossed in his notebook: Anton Varga. Chapter 4. The face of the devil. Daniel found Varga in his penthouse, guarded by steel doors and loyal killers. But money buys loyalty only so far. Some of his men had already fled, others too afraid to fight. Daniel carved a path, body bruised, ribs broken, until at last he stood face to face with the man who had destroyed his life. Varga wasn't a monster in appearance. He was clean-cut, calm, with eyes that spoke of boredom rather than fear. "You think killing me changes anything?" Varga said, pouring himself a drink as if Daniel were an old friend. "You kill me, and another takes my place. The city bleeds the same. Maybe worse." Daniel raised the gun. His hand shook for the first time in months. Maybe Varga was right. Maybe it was all pointless. But then he remembered Leela laugh, the way she had believed in good people, in better days. "This isn't about the city," Daniel whispered. "It's about you." The shot echoed through the penthouse, louder than thunder. Chapter 5. Ashes. Varga fell, but Daniel didn't feel triumph, only emptiness. He stood over the body, waiting for something: relief, justice, meaning. None came. The empire would crumble. Yes, rivals would devour it. Blood would still run through Blackridge's streets. But Leela was still gone. When Clara arrived minutes later, badge hidden, gun ready, she found Daniel sitting on the floor, covered in blood, notebook open beside him. Every name crossed out. "You got what you wanted," she said softly. Daniel shook his head. "I got what I deserved." She didn't arrest him. Instead, she helped him vanish. Some said he fled the city. Some whispered he still roamed the alleys, punishing the guilty. In Blackridge, rain still fell, and the whispers of blood never truly faded.